I was kicked out of a club for using a woman's bathroom.
I don't see anything wrong with it.
A number of rules in the Bible that people don't follow, but homosexuality has been seen as that one sin that everybody and their grandmother is going to come for you for.
I've always been attracted to males and females.
Do you prefer Lloyd in pants or dresses?
Instead of hiding in the closet, rather just don't be scared. Take the leap.
I'm Lloyd Zanna-Rex Chetty. I was born in Durban, KwaZulu-Natal, and I currently live in Durbanville, Cape Town.
My name's Marco Carlo Lara. I was born in Johannesburg. I'm 45 years old and I'm currently living in Cape Town.
I come from a very religious background. My childhood was slightly more difficult, trying to come up and find my place in the world. It was always seen as there was something wrong with who I was. My moment of coming out was a very kind of checkbox exercise. I had gone to an event and there was a whole bunch happening, and a certain video of me was leaked dancing with a caterer, and people raised a lot of questions towards it. And what happened afterwards is my mum coming to me after some time and saying that she had been not eating and going through quite a traumatic experience herself, because she was given a lot of strain from the church and from family about my sexuality and identity. I didn't exactly come out to my dad. He basically, by the way, heard it from my mother. And my mother's in thinks I'm going through a phase, essentially, and my dad's in denial. So it's kind of this like, we love you, we accept you, but like we don't know who you are kind of situation.
My childhood's been pretty much easygoing. My mom's always had the philosophy in life, as long as you're happy, be happy with who you are, do whatever makes you happy. And I've adopted that my whole life. I've always been attracted to males and females throughout my whole life as a teenager. So I'm quite sure they've always known that I've been the way I am, and they've accepted it. They don't judge me. They love me for who I am, and as long as I'm happy, they don't mind.
We actually met at a club that I quite frequent called Pink Candy. I was there for an event, and I was essentially standing in a VIP booth, chilling. And a friend of ours, who's actually funnily named Marco, comes up to me and says, my friend would like to say hello to you. And so I said, sure, if he wants to say hello, let him come and say hello. And in comes Marco here, who then starts talking to me and is like, hi, how are you? I'm Marco, like, you're really pretty, like, beautiful. And then offers to buy me a drink, but I actually already bought myself a drink.
Saw her sitting there, actually saw her on the dance floor first. Just couldn't keep my eyes off her and just kept looking and staring the whole time. And then, like she said, we actually went up to her and asked her if I could buy her a drink. She said, no, I've got a drink. But automatically you'd like, okay, well, that's a sign, it's a hint. I'll just move away and just back off. But yeah, basically it was just like stunning, amazing, gorgeous. There's no other words to explain it.
And then a few weeks later, we had bumped into each other again at the same place. And a lot of people started being like, no, this guy's keep on checking you out. It was kind of given that moment in Twilight where Edward was sitting outside and keep staring on Bella. So yeah, eventually I was like, okay, it's cool. We can hang out and see what's happening. I really thought that he was into my friends. There was another friend that I was with there that kept on saying how good looking he was. And I'd been there just to blow off some steam. You know, you go to a club, not necessarily to meet a guy, but to like dance and chill. And when I saw him, I was like, okay, he's good looking. But then my friend kind of hinted towards them knowing each other. And I was like, okay, cool, I'm staying back because, you know, sisters before misters. So it was one of those things. When we had started dating, he had actually was going to an event, and he told me that one of my favorite DJs is going to be at this event. The song Heaven actually was like one of my all-time school favorite songs. And he was going to the event and he told me that this DJ was there, and I was like, oh my gosh, like you have to get me a photo or something. I was at work and my phone started buzzing, and in comes a video note, so a full video. The DJ had gone up to the DJ and asked the DJ to send me a message. And the DJ took his phone and actually sent me a video note and did a whole introduction with both the artists of the song. And I got it while I was at work, and I was about to get teary, but I was working a VIP customer line. So I was, okay, this is cute. And then next thing I got was a full recording of the actual song before performed live. I think that's like one of the most memorable and sweetest things, and kind of like just sealed the whole, okay, this is real.
Yeah, basically I did say the exact same thing. Is that memory was actually one of the best memories we actually did. I knew she wanted to have just like a photograph or something, so I asked him and I said, would you mind just sending her a voice note? And he actually said, okay, fine, do a video note.
There's a certain comfortability between us. You get to a certain point in life when you kind of do too much together and you realize that person starts where you end, essentially. It's one of these, like, wake up in the mornings, the first person I'm thinking about that I want to message is the last person that I want to message before I go to bed. The person that's constantly on your mind, and it's just, it's easier. It's like breathing, you know, when you start wanting somebody more than you want something for yourself.
It's like saying, me without being my arms. She is my arms. You understand? She always fulfills me no matter what. So that's the whole thing of concept. Is actually, that's how I know she's actually such an amazing person, and I want to be with her for the rest of my life.
As a Christian person, I can tell you forthright and foremost that this would be called a very sinful, abominative act against God. And that's a narrative that you kind of have to wean yourself out of when you find somebody that crosses those bounds and makes you even question your own spirituality and religious identity. I think because of his skin color, it's actually one of those things that my family is going to be much more accepting of him because he's like light skin. And if you know anything about the Indian community, it's very like, you know, light skin is pure skin. So I feel like he's more purer than me at this point. But no, I think our family has been quite welcoming to the idea of us being genuinely happy. And our happiness should be above all. There is some cultural differences, but our families haven't been in the same room yet to have that experience. We've kind of introduced each other to our extended families, but it's been going good. We haven't had any major issues.
No, we haven't had any issues itself. We've just actually, the cultural thing is not our big train smashes. Mm-hmm. The thing is, we're very, very open-minded people. So that's the whole thing, is we can actually understand each other. So yes, we do argue. Every couple does. But we understand each other's point of view because we actually understand to be open-minded to actually get the person's perspective, actually understanding it, which actually helps us a lot.
There are challenges that I don't think a lot of people are fully aware of. As somebody who kind of sticks out like a sore thumb, and no matter how much I tone down my appearance, you can spot me from a mile away. It's just who I am as a person. And as much as I've tried to shave down and silence parts of myself, it's one of those things where I could step into an area and you would immediately recognize there's somebody different there. And it comes with a lot of stigma. It does come a lot of stigma, a lot of fear, a lot of hate. And it's one of those things that I'm very aware of, because I've had to deal with it for quite an extended period of time. I'm 33 years now, so I've dealt with it since childhood. So it's been like over 20 something years that I've been dealing with the very stigmatized hate. That's quite real. And it's one of those hurdles that you just get used to and you shut off because you realize that your happiness means more. But something that we kind of like, okay, this is there, and we need to be mindful. So he'll tell you like, I don't hold his hand sometimes when we're in malls, or I don't like being too affectionate when we're in certain spaces, because I'm always mindful of, are there children around? What's the demographic around us? Certain people have certain views, and it's not my job to make you uncomfortable, but certain people do feel uncomfortable when there's kids around. And so it's one of those things that we have to deal with, and we have to become very cognizant of.
My mom's always taught me just to be happy, be free, just love yourself and do what makes you happy. So I've always had that perspective of life that I will do what makes me happy and make myself comfortable. If it makes you uncomfortable, then you need to step aside and move away. But just to lighten on your point as well is the reason why you actually feel that way is because the main fact is you have a presence. No matter where you go and wherever you walk, you have this presence. And I think a lot of people just feel that they are not being seen. Then that's where you get the backlash from.
A lot of his friends kind of pushed for our relationship. They're the ones that told me that he was serious, and I kind of didn't believe it until like one night 11, 12 of them came up to me at different times and were like, this guy is serious about you. And then mutual friends were like, no, this guy is definitely serious about you, kind of situation. So it was, his friends have always been very supportive. Mine have taken a bit of hesitation. I think it's just because I've been hurt before in a few times I try to get serious with people. And so, but a lot of the people that matter have come around and have realized that I'm happy, and that's all that's needed.
We make each other happy. That's the whole thing. Outside, my side as well, the same thing. Actually very happy. Just as that most of my friends and most people that I actually know are just as long as I'm happy and the person I'm with I make happy, that's all that counts. I don't actually think there's actually cultural differences between the two of us. Being that you are from an Indian descent and I'm being Portuguese descent, I don't think there's actually much of a difference.
Yeah, I think for us there isn't much of a difference. Marco is actually more Indian than I am. I'm actually allergic to chilies, onions, jalapenos, and peppers, and Marco eats them like it's nobody's business.
Well, I'm the one who says
so he actually likes my family's cooking more than I do it sometimes. And I think that if you like an Indian mom's cooking, then she's like your best friend. So I haven't exactly experienced the cultural barriers yet. I haven't met Marco's mom. She is in Portugal.
Yeah.
So I haven't gotten to see her. Hopefully I don't leave a bad impression. I think the bigger issue comes because of sexuality. It's kind of he wouldn't see it much because he's very mask butch kind of looking, and I would be the person that's trying to steal somebody's prospective boyfriend. So I think I'm in more the sense they see me as the other woman. But no, there aren't many big issues around us. Homosexuality is seen as a biblical sin. I mean, the Bible has like 612 rules in it. Homosexuality has been perverted and swung around to be like holier than the 10 commandments, right? And if you're homosexual, it's like the biggest sin in the Bible, right? And that actually isn't the case. I mean, it's not even featured in their 10 commandments. There's a number of rules in the Bible that people don't follow, but homosexuality has been seen as that one sin that everybody and their grandmother is going to come for you for. And in that aspect, it's been quite a problem, experiencing that kind of hate. I mean, just last weekend, I was kicked out of a bathroom because of a similar issue, out of a club for using a woman's bathroom. We've had similar experiences with other things as well. But from a cultural point of view, Indian people acknowledge the existence of a third identity, a third gender identity, the Hijra community in India, but also the Nagara entertainers. Sexuality is fluid, but obviously in the more stronger community values, there are issues that do require some work, but nothing too crazy.
I've always been raised to actually know that there is good and evil. So, and my mom's always taught us, just as long as you're good and you're happy and you can't judge anyone else, and make yourself happy and love yourself and love whoever you're with. I've never actually experienced anything like that, so I don't see anything wrong with it. So I'm actually very open book.
I feel like everybody says you bring baggage. I feel like one of those girls going to the Hamptons with like 7 suitcases, a duffel bag, and a little vanity, as well as a carry-on purse. As a trans queer person, I think that I'm more attracted to very mass kind of guys, and it's been very mass kind of guys that turn around and say that you're not woman enough or not female enough, and that's something that you kind of constantly have to deal with is not being seen as feminine enough to be with a guy, or a guy dating you for a really long time and then telling you, I'm sorry, this is not going to work out because you're not able to have kids. A lot of my relationships have not been as out and as open as this. I could count on a hand the amount of dates I went on before I met Marco. So this is the first time I'm actually dating and doing things and going out and experiencing new things. And I think being just, it feels very natural now and not as forced. There's a lot of things that I need to still allow myself to experience with him and allow myself to do. And I think that's just my own kind of history playing on me and saying that, you know what, kind of like this feels too good to be true at the moment and waiting for the other shoe to drop. But yeah, I think it's history shapes us all, right? And it's not about bringing your history into a new relationship. It's saying that I don't want to make the same mistake again, and going into something with eyes wide open. So it does influence us, but it doesn't define us. I think we kind of set our own path ablaze and we kind of figure out where we're going. And if there's something that's affecting us, then we tend to speak about it more and go with how we thought.
One thing we've always said, right, we have to be honest with each other.
And have open communication.
Yeah, exactly. So if we don't like something, we have a signal that we give each other and we'll go and talk and discuss it instead of having something build up and blow out of proportion.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, even though I'm the first guy you've actually introduced to your parents, but it's okay.
Yeah, he actually is. Can you believe it? The first man I introduced to my family at 33.
I've gone through a lot of bad relationships, and instead of sitting there dwelling on the past, I've learned to actually rather just deal with it, put it in the past and forget about it, because it's happened. There's nothing you can do about it, and move forward. So have a clean slate, be positive, push forward. You'll find something. Always look at the positive light of everything and you'll get there. And finding her actually just put like the cherry on the cake. So it was epic and was the most amazing thing I've ever had to go experience.
Funny enough, my mum was actually in Cape Town this past year, and she got to meet my significant other, and she posed this question, do you prefer Lloyd in pants or dresses? It was quite an interesting question, and as much as I have grown out of my insecurities, it was one of these questions that kind of hit home, right? Because it's like, oh my gosh, so many years have passed and you still like aren't wrapping around to this fact. And so she asked him, do you like Lloyd in pants or dresses? And he turned around and was like, either which is fine, but actually dresses work because she has nice legs. So I think I think that he kind of like buffered me in a sense, and we kind of play off that with each other, right? It's not necessarily using comedy to help, but if somebody says something against it, we're just like, so what? It's like, you don't exactly support our life. You don't pay our bills. We independent people. We don't do things to please other people. We do it because
we please each other.
Exactly. We call ourselves a top deck relationship because, as you can see, I'm 40 shades of brown and he's very much the milk to my cup of 5 roses. So it's one of those situations where I don't know. I don't think that I obviously had to go and get really expensive makeup, and even still then it moves on his clothes, which is why he doesn't wear white clothes around me. It's also been one of those situations where, like, if I kiss him or something, I have to be very cognizant, because I can kiss him and then it looks like he got blush, or that he's using like really red lip stain. So he actually stains quite easily, and I'm a very artistic person, and everything that I does wear or use transfers. So it's like glitter, you know, you open a bottle and 2 years later you're gonna find a bit of me on you somewhere. So it's been cute, it's been romantic. it's kind of like the yin and yang, the light and dark, the white and black situation, or the white and brown in this case.
Yeah, there's a lot of white and brown. Yeah, the only thing is just makeup going all over the place, but there's nothing really changes. Everything's the same. We're all good.
I just make him look like Simba sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes I look like I got makeup everywhere, and I have just been kissing her. That's it.
The only struggle as somebody that's queer is, and this is more of an internal struggle and an ongoing thing. I'm a very old school romantic, but not just old school romantic. I'm very cliche and very by the book, and very stereotypical in that sense. And the one thing that I've always admired is there's a look, right? There's a look when you meet your first love. There's a look when you walk down the aisle and your partner's standing at the end. There's a look when you give your partner when you know you've messed up and it's just and you want them to forgive you. There's a look when you want something. But there's also another look. And it's the look when a man sees you and you're carrying his child, and it's something that I'm not going to be able to provide. And I'm a very family person. I'm a very home building person, and that for me is like one of the most difficult things that I've had to deal with. From cultural, from sexual, from identity, not being able to give him a child the way God or people see it. I mean, we would have a family at some point late in our lives, but yeah, that's one thing that sits for me, is that I've always wanted to be able to provide my partner with a child or be able to carry a child to term, and I don't think that's something that's ever going to be a possibility.
It's called adoption.
No, but even with adoption, there's a moment when you take a pregnancy stick to a man and he looks at you and feel like, I'm going to be a daddy. And I was like, yeah, I think that's the only thing.
Yeah, the only thing I've struggled with is obviously when you're younger, you actually turn around and you actually think, and you worry about what everyone else is going to think and how everyone's going to treat you and what people perceive of you. And as you grow older, you learn to actually stop focusing on that and actually focus on yourself and what makes you truly happy. And I've even had people approach me, like asking me, they're worried, about what their parents are going to think about and what they're going to actually do. And I've always said to them, they got to understand something. You've got to be true to yourself. Your parents and your friends, whoever's around you, will accept you no matter who you are. So instead of hiding in the closet, rather just don't be scared. Take the leap, because you'll feel so much freedom when you actually know that people know about it. And 9 out of 10 times, they already know that you are who you are. So that's the only thing I struggled with when I was younger.
I have a massive issue about lingering things, about stains you can't scrub off. I think the one challenge that we experience as a couple is that being friends with exes is like kind of like the thing. It's like, are you still hung up? Are you still have feels? Like, are you still in communication kind of thing? In the start of a relationship, it kind of brought up a lot of insecurities, and a lot of kind of questioning where we stood together. But as it developed, and the more we spoke about it, I mean, we were fighting so much, you would thought it was like we were calling it a Netflix series, because like this week we were fine, next week there was another episode, and then the following week there was another season. So it kind of like was a lot of growing pains. But I think that every relationship needs that kind of open line of communication and understanding. We're in a new relationship, so we have to both adjust our perspectives and certain viewpoints in order to make this work.
I don't think we've actually faced a lot of challenges that actually affected us that much. Like, besides, yes, people feeling that you've pulled me away from you and from them and alienating them. Meanwhile, it's my choice. But besides that, I don't think we've actually really struggled with challenges that much. Unless I'm wrong. I don't think so.
What reminds me about you? He faffs. He can faff. So you know those people who get home and like you expecting them to like come and hug and whatever. No, he must get home. He must put the things away. He must sort this out. He must do this here. There's no like get home and like hi. No, I must sort this out before I come and yeah. So there's always this like kind of like needing to clean and polish and dust and shine everything beforehand. So it actually annoys me because he does washing when I visit him, and so he leaves me alone to go to washing, and clean and sort things out. And I'm like, why did you do it already? And it's like, no, because he needs to do it again.
The one peeve that actually does irritate me, which I've learned to shut up, is making me late, because I don't like being late. If I say I'm going to be at a certain place at a certain time, I will be there at a certain time, no matter what. And
beauty takes time, and what every minute perfect. I need to look pretty. I'm sorry, an event is not going to happen if I don't arrive.
But yeah, that's basically it. It's just that.
I have a very dark past. Been through a lot, and it's essentially a thing of saying, what can you do to me that already hasn't been done? It's a narrative of pain and suffering and hurt that I've essentially taken a very long time to get to where I am. And it's been a lonely journey, but it's also been a very eye-opening one. I've lost a lot of people along the way, but those that mattered stayed. And it's kind of been like a truth serum on who's really friends, who's really family. And my pain has given me the confidence. It's that I've been through it. What more can you do to me? Or what more hate can you give me that I haven't already given myself? As a Christian person struggling with identity growing up, and as the person that I am today trying to fit into the society that I'm born into, it's been a difficult road, and those difficulties have actually given me the confidence to say, bring it on, babe. Like somebody insulted me the other day, and I was like, can you be more creative? Like, I've heard this like how many thousand times now? So it's one of those things, like if I had a penny for every time somebody did, you know, and that pain kind of made me more stronger than I've ever been before. And every time I burn down, I rise like the phoenix, and I come back more beautiful and more better than ever before. So it's not just a B attitude. It's like, try me, babe. You try me.
Yeah, my confidence, I think it all comes down to is I learned and I got taught very well from my mom to say that, you know what, don't worry what other people think or care what anyone thinks of you or what they expect of you. Just do you. And I think ever since I've done that, my confidence has gone through the roof. And just a point on the point, at least you got me now, so you don't have to worry about that. We can do it together.
So we could go anywhere. We go to the mall and people literally break their necks to kind of like look at us. It's like, you know, that show, You're the Weakest Link, Goodbye. Everybody, like the moment I walk past, it's like they said it.
Yeah, but the thing is, what's the
people strain themselves and they make it very obvious. People stop phone calls literally to stare at us. And it's one of those situations was like, guys, like we've been here for like forever. Like, can you not be like so obvious? Like if you want to look at something or whatever. But I think that the point is that I've gotten so used to it that it no longer affects me. But I've been attacked by parents who have kids before who don't understand who I am as a person and then go off at me and be like, why are you standing near my child? Why are you talking to my child? And I'm like, I'm a person. I'm not some kind of criminal or whatever. So there's an unspoken narrative. And the thing is, there's no stats that speak to that narrative, right? You don't see stats of men dressing up like this or living entire years of their life to go and hurt other people. So I don't know where people get the information from, but they've made me seem very much like criminal because of existing. And I think that's one of the only cultural kind of barriers that we've experienced, one of the societal barriers that we experience on a day-to-day basis.
Well, my side, not really. Being being more masculine and all that, I don't usually get that kind of experience itself. So it's usually tend to be addressed more towards the feminine side of it, which is it's actually very narrow-minded, according to what I say, is they shouldn't really give their opinions. If they don't have anything nice to say, just keep quiet and let it go. You know what, let the person be, they're not hurting anyone.
Sometimes we have to remind Marco that I can't go to certain places, I can't do certain things. It's not because I don't want to, it's because I've have experience with it. It's a kid's birthday party. I wouldn't jump at the idea of going to a child's birthday party. It's because I've organized birthday parties before. I'm an events coordinator, and I've seen how parents turn around and be like, is my child going to be safe at this party? I spoke to the organizer, and the organizer's like part of the LGBT spectrum. So it's one of those things, is that I close myself off, and I have to be mindful about the impact that I bring. And although I'm a really nice person and a really kind person, and I just want people to be happy, and I go out of my way to make sure that all of my events and whatever I do, people are taken care of and that I provide the best service. A lot of people just don't see me that way. Listen, there is gatekeeping, and then there's queer gatekeeping, right? So the community is not without its problems. Let's be honest. People are gonna hate me, but let's be honest, right? I am not a typical gay person. I'm trans queer, right? I'm a brown skinned, flamboyant trans queer person that slays the house down boots, right? And the thing is, the queer narrative around a lot of people and around a lot of places is that you are essentially kin, right? This mask-looking person that is with another mask-looking person, that you're this light-skinned queer person. And during Pride and everywhere, we call them the elite guys or the elite gay guys, because it's a very straight-looking perspective. We're a unique group of people. Yes, we are human, and yes, we should be given equal preferences. But the fact of the matter is that there is a difference about us. I'm saying we're different and we need our own table. You don't go through the victimization and the kind of homophobia, transphobia that we do, because why? You are trying so hard to fit into this box narrative of what that identity is, right? And just because there's all of these differences about you doesn't make you less human. I mean, if I was the typical stereotypical idea of what a man looks like, what would you then say? It's like, oh my gosh, that's like, okay, by the way, but we're not in the Cat in the Hat episode.
Because the main problem is, the thing is, people like to label things. They name everything. See, the thing is, if you name something, then you've named it. If you actually think about it, like she said, it's a journey. You don't know what you are. You don't know who you are exactly 100%. Maybe you are. You're one of the lucky ones that actually know. Yes, okay, I'm a masculine gay man. Okay, and I like men. Yes, okay, but other people don't. So why label them? Let them figure out for themselves what they are. And you got to just respect it. When we're both dealing with something, or one of us is doing something, is actually being there for the person, listening and understanding from their point of view to what's going on and everything like that. So that's what it comes down to, basically seeing from their point of view what they're going through, okay, or helping them, guiding them, or give them advice. Like for instance, if I'm dealing with something, I would look to her to find out how I could actually change the situation I'm in, or maybe better it in that aspect.
If you're going through something, you need to be vocal about it. Don't sit in isolation and be like, this is a problem that can wait, or this is something that can stay silent, or this is not something that is your problem. As a relationship and being together as a couple, it means dealing with things together. It means no matter how small or how big it is, the other person should know. Somebody who is with somebody means that it's another voice. You need to be able to bounce off things on your partner. You need to be able to share the kind of emotional burden and emotional support that the other person needs. And sometimes it's been silent and listening to the person vent. Sometimes it's being silent and letting another person have an opinion and saying, this is what needs to be done, or you need to wake up from the situation and be like, make a decision, right?
My advice would be, it's very simple. You need to first and foremost is love yourself. If you don't love yourself, how can you expect anyone else to love you? You need to understand who you are as a person, love yourself and respect yourself, because then you will only ask for people to respect you and love you the way you love yourself. That's the first and foremost thing. Secondly, I turn around and say, yes, if you really want to feel who you really are by loving yourself, come out. Don't hold back. Don't really worry about anyone else's thoughts and what they carry and what they think of you. Do what makes you happy. That is the only true advice I could give anyone.
Don't listen to other people. Your relationship is between you and your partner. And that doesn't just apply to queer relationships, it also applies to relationships in general. If you keep on taking the advice and critique of other people, you're going to start being in relationships that other people should be in. You're not going to have a relationship of your own. If you keep on taking the advice of other people, you start living other people's lives. You don't live your own life. Also, coming out is, although a freeing experience, it is not for the weak-hearted.
Yeah.
It's not for the faint-hearted. This isn't some party or celebration that fireworks explode and you get this happily ever after situation. It is a journey of resilience, of survival, of difficulty. There is beautiful moments in it. God, there's beautiful moments in it. But there is pain. There is strife. There is moments that you want to cry and scream and go absolutely mad and be like, why me? But also embrace your relationship with open arms. It is an adventure. It is a beautiful journey. Don't rush into things. Allow yourself the time to explore, to build, and to find yourself within that relationship.
Yeah.
Share responsibilities equally. Allow your relationship to be mutually beneficial.
Let it grow as a plant. Start as a plant. Let it blossom together.